Well, few industries in agriculture were hit harder by the drought in 2012 than beef. Despite the higher demand, skyrocketing feed costs placed a huge burden on producers. It was a topic discussed at the annual Beef Short Course held in Tifton, and Damon Jones was there.
While the price of beef might be at an all-time high, so are the input costs. That's the problem facing many producers here in Georgia as they look to continue putting out quality products while also cutting some expenses. And the biggest way to do that is really quite simple.
One is to look at your forage, start there, see how much exactly we need so we can fine-tune that supplementation strategy, not just assume they need 6 pounds of certain feed, but there may be times where they only need 3 pounds, or there may be times where they need 0 pounds. So we can really tailor that nutritional program to meet their forages so that we maintain that requirement without spending too much money.
Another issue discussed was mineral supplementation in the forage. Imbalance in the cattle can produce worn body conditions while also drastically decreasing the conception rate. As for advice on how to properly distribute the minerals, it all hinges on setting a baseline.
My biggest message, whether it's fertilization or feeding, is you got to know where you're starting. You can't make improvements unless you know where you are. So that starts with soil sampling and forage testing, so that we can look at those samples to see exactly where they are as far as minerals go in the soil or in the plant, and then from there they can make efficient, correct decisions on how to fertilize or how to feed.
It's not just forage, but also the animals that must be carefully managed to create a successful operation. One plan some farmers are using involves a four-pronged approach.
One is that we think about designing the facilities correctly, and that includes your pastures, placement of gates. The type of facility that you have really needs to reduce the stress on the animal as well as the handler. Secondly, I would say the cattle need to be conditioned to what it is that you're doing. So if that means getting out in amongst those cattle every single day, whether it's on horseback, whether it's on foot, whether it's with working dogs, you know, every day that you can get into that group of animals and condition them to some mild stressors, then they really can handle some more stressful conditions when they come. Another approach I like to look at is the culling of temperamental animals. We know that disposition has a genetic linkage. The fourth area is the low stress handling, and really being able to work these animals based on how they perceive the world.
And while the livestock are obviously beneficiaries of proper management, the producers also see plenty of perks as well.
A lot of benefits that we see from it. Probably the biggest is that we've got healthier cattle. There's other benefits too, like healthier producers, less injury damage to producers, less injury and damage to facilities. But really in the long run, it's that we have healthier cattle that perform better when they're either on grazing or they're on feed. So that really makes a big difference.
Now, this type of care for the animals helps the producers not only physically and economically, but also on the public relations side. It's an important factor when trying to promote the industry as a whole.
Public perception is a huge issue. So this year we're actually going through safe handling of animals and proper handling so that we can all get on the page. So if we are to interact with the public and they see how we handle our animals, they understand that we are humane in the way we treat those animals.
Reporting from Tifton, I'm Damon Jones for the Georgia Farm Monitor.